Brian White dropped by. Oh, no, he didn't drop by here. He dropped by someplace in where?
Michigan. I'm in Michigan. This
You're
week is
still
the
in Michigan.
fourth roadmap conference, and it's going to be great. It's electrification, it's autonomy, it's mobility. It's going to be exciting.
All right. So you're in Michigan after having been, and you went to Michigan for for a Tesla event, right?
Summer meetup every June,
Yep.
hosted by the Owners Club of Michigan. Yeah.
Anything happened there that was exciting or worth talking about?
Well, I got to hang out with Larry. I mean, that's pretty exciting. How do you go wrong with that? And a bunch of great folks were there. But if you mean this meeting so far, we had a meet and greet on Saturday that got unfortunately cut a bit short because the venue was packed and they were getting pretty annoyed with us taking up space. Today I guess that was Sunday. Today I had a chance to go out to Stone Ridge to talk to them about digital mirror technology for big rigs. A lot of interesting stuff. Videos are coming about that. And this veteran truck driver got to drive a Cybertruck for the first time. We got his impressions. It was very fun.
Nice, nice. And did he like it?
He could, yeah, he was very impressed with the turn radius, with just the tight feel of it, the overall packaging. Yeah, he was impressed.
Well, all right, very, very cool. Okay, so this morning I did a video where I talked about the estimates for the fourth quarter. And I know there are people who are sitting and saying, "Oh, we don't care how much metal we move anymore. You know, it's all about the future of robo taxi and all the rest of this." And so I just don't care anymore. Well, guess what? The market cares. They clearly are showing that they care. So somebody out there is still counting the numbers and they're still reacting when the numbers come out. So for my show, at least, I'm going to continue to talk about the numbers because some people in this audience probably are paying attention to the numbers and or day trading or weekly trading, and they are, using that as a guideline for how they make their trades. So I want to keep on talking about that. So here's the setup, Brian. The setup is um, our buddy, not necessarily your buddy, my buddy, Troy Tesla, came out this morning at 438.
438. Okay.
And the consensus, no, I'm saying, I got that wrong, didn't I? 428.
Okay.
And the consensus is 439.
Okay. 428 versus last quarter at almost 500 is to me too low. I would say that's too low. And I'll walk you through why. I assume that's why I'm here.
That's right. That's right. You give your story, I'll tell mine. Go ahead.
Let's look factory by factory.
Right.
China's numbers are not going down because of the end of the IRA. China had its a very good month, over 90,000 in September. Uh, that should hold steady through this quarter. Q4 is strong in China and all the markets to which China exports. Any vehicle they can produce, they will surely sell. So they are supply constrained in that market because they've got the new YL. They've got refreshed versions from the last year or two of the other two models, the regular Model Ys and the Model 3s. Those are going to keep selling. Forget about China. It's on, I'd say autopilot, but it's on an advanced FSD. It's going to do just fine.
All right. There were two pieces of news that you may not be aware of
Please.
because you are traveling. This morning, the vice president, I forget the name, came out with a statement and said that they are ramping up production in China.
That makes no sense at all. They're already at full capacity, but it's Shanghai, so they can always squeeze a little more out.
He's a little more. So that's what she said. I think it's a she. They're ramping up in China. The second thing was I asked Grok, and did you know that over the last 4 years, the average increase in the fourth quarter compared to the third quarter in China has been 44%.
Hmm. Hmm.
And the lowest of the last 4 years has been 22%.
Boy, I don't know how they could do that again, but if anyone can do it, it's them.
Right.
So China is going to make up some ground over the other factories.
Right.
Then you've got Berlin. Berlin has never been at capacity. In fact, they had reduced shifts in the past. They added some more hours last quarter, and now they're going to be getting this month the more affordable Model Y, the made in Berlin, more affordable Model Y.
Right.
Well, where are you getting the batteries? They're LFPs. There is a supply. They can get them. So that model is going to sell. It is 5,000 cheaper. In the US, we get a lot of people very upset. You're asking me to pay 2,500 more for a car less good than the one last month. Well, that's not the real price. I mean, Tesla's price is 5,000 less. They haven't changed the price of the Model Y. Your incentives have changed. That's nothing. The engineers can't fix that. You can't manufacture out tax credits. That's not how they work. But in Berlin, and cars made in Berlin that serve the European market, they now have a car that's $5,000 cheaper, and that's going to sell. That
And
is going to be a hot seller.
I saw somebody on X commenting that in particular in Europe, a lot of the cars are sold to fleets, and that the
Mm.
car is totally designed as a fleet seller, reducing complexity, even for Tesla, but reducing the complexity even more in terms of cleaning, in terms of mechanical aspects that don't have to be repaired. It's just a much simpler car for a fleet to have, as well as the fleets are always looking for a better deal and don't care about some of the niceties.
That's the absolute reality of fleets. That's why when the Pontiac Aztec bombed, they all went to rental car companies because people care a whole lot less what their rental car looks like than their daily driver. So when you're in the European market and you've got something that's 5,000 cheaper, I've seen people say, well, for me, the lack of subwoofer is a deal breaker. Guess what? You can add one for less than $5,000 on the secondary, on the third party market.
Right.
Well, for me, it's this feature. Look, I only want one or two. All of us only really want one or two of those features. And the reality is, most of the things they cut didn't exist on the Model Y a year ago.
Right.
And the same with the Model 3. The things they cut are the things they added recently. It's so Berlin is going to sell more units in Q4 than Q3.
Okay.
How could they not?
Right.
It'll take a little bit of time to ramp that new one, but they'll have all of December,
Mhm.
most of November, and part of October. So they'll continue selling the regular Model Ys and add to it with the more affordable ones. Now we get to the US.
Mhm.
The US there are a lot of people. If you had announced on the last day of the month, oh, we're going to extend it through Q4, the IRA extends through Q4. Q4 still would have had softness because a lot of Q4 buyers bought in Q3 instead. So I do expect to see a decline in 𝐞𝐬𝐝 sales, that Q4 will be sequentially lower than Q3 just because a lot of demand was pulled forward. But there are people who didn't buy last month because they didn't know the credit was expiring. There are a lot of people who didn't buy last month who will buy this month because they needed a car today. And a week ago, a month ago, they didn't. Maybe,
I don't know if I told you about the statistic that I had Grok pull last week. And I said, hey, how many cars in the United States are totaled every day?
oh, how
You know,
many?
14,000. 14,000
Hmm.
a day, 5 million a year.
You should have planned that for last quarter.
Yeah, right.
I wasn't planning it for any quarter. What are you talking about?
Oops. Oh, uh-oh. Your microphone just bleeped out on us.
I bumped the button.
You bumped the
Am I
button.
back now?
You're back now. You are
Okay.
so back.
So there are people who couldn't buy last quarter or didn't need to buy last quarter who do need to buy.
Right.
So they're going to look at cars and they're going to say, boy, I wish I could get a better deal, but these are the deals and this is the best deal and I will buy it. And while you do have people saying, look, it's the step up is only, 70, $80 a month on the payment. If you can't afford that, you shouldn't be buying a car. To which I say, if someone comes in and says, with my down payment and my trade in, I can handle 300 to 400 a month.
You
Three,
bumping your thing. Stop bumping your thing. Yeah.
I need to get a new cable. There are people who will say, I need to be in the 300 to 400 range. We say, well, look at this one.
No, you're good. You're all right. You're fine. Yep. Now you're not. You were, and now you're not.
It showed up on the screen. Look.
I see. I see.
Okay.
All right.
They will say we could get you into this car for 350. If it's 430, it looks like it keeps changing.
No, you're good so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
This car is now 430. They say it's out of budget. I can't do it. I have to buy something else. So what are they going to do? Are they supposed to just, well, they're no longer Tesla buyers. We do have a model that's in your price range. And if $72 or $80 is a deal breaker, you shouldn't be buying a car. Look, which $70 though? Is it the 350 to 420? Is it the 420 to 490? Is it the 490 to 560? It's going to be somewhere. That number is going to fall somewhere every time. More affordable is better. People will buy it. So if Troy's number is what, almost 20% lower quarter over quarter, going into Q4, which is seasonally a very strong quarter, and most sales take place outside the US, I think 428 is too pessimistic. It is very early in the quarter. We just don't know. But what you could do to get an anecdote to help you understand is on any given Saturday or Sunday, head down to the showroom and see if people are taking deliveries.
Mm-hmm.
If there's no one taking deliveries, maybe we should be a little concerned. But I suspect we're going to see not the frenzy we saw last month, but people still picking up cars.
Mm-hmm. I was also thinking that this price point that they came out with on the new Model 3 standard, um, it's not stuck at that number. And
No,
then any of the other numbers are stuck. My guess would be that in the first month, 2 months, maybe there's going to be some overhead as they are ramping up that's going to go away. And so it's going to be less expensive to make, let's say in December than it is in November. And Model Y, I think Model Y comes out first, then the Model 3. And so therefore, if the sales are not what we need them to be, we've always got these incentives. We can always cut the price for a month or whatever it is, and if we need to move some metal. So I agree with you that I think Troy's a bit pessimistic, and we'll see. I'm not picking on Troy because I am
yeah,
I am a fan, and I do subscribe to him and I follow him, and I check his numbers all the time.
and he could be right.
Yeah.
At this point, it'd be a little egotistical to say he's definitely wrong, but it's fair to say he's pessimistic. On the pricing, I do believe that there is room to reduce the cost of the Model Y, especially, but the Model 3 as well. I have said all along, these could get LFP batteries. Now we've got the specs. They do not have LFP batteries. They have the Reno NCA batteries, but LFP batteries, now that the IRA's sourcing requirements for batteries, for domesticated batteries, is gone, we could see a return to importing LFP cells from China or anywhere but China. It's always China. They make the most batteries, especially LFPs. But there's the LFP deal with LG out of Michigan. Those are online. Those could start shipping any day. They could start assembling packs out of that. What we may see later in the quarter or in first quarter is an even more affordable Model Y that doesn't have the same specs as the one today. It would have an LFP pack, which is cheaper. It would have a reduced range, but you could use 100% of it. You could charge to 100, so it's not as bad. In Germany, when they announced the Model Y more affordable, it does have LFP. And Tesla has already sold LFP Model 3s in the US. The rear-wheel drive at one time was an LFP cell car. So I think it'd be more likely that they would either change the vehicle's battery and then drop the price with it, or that they would add incentives. Say if you buy before the end of the quarter, we will throw on autopilot, or we'll give you 6 months of FSD, or we'll give you a free color choice or a lower interest rate. Things like that. Other incentives, I think they really don't want to adjust prices too frequently.
Okay, speaking of LFP, help me out on this one. I haven't really paid attention. Panasonic has their new factory that's produced already their millionth cell out of Kansas City. Uh,
Hmm.
is that what battery is that? Is that for the storage or is that for car? What are they doing there in Kansas?
I'm pretty sure those are lithium ion batteries, not for stationary storage, but for automotive. But I don't know who's buying them. I know Kansas was going to make 4680s. It's possible they're doing that, but it would not be on a tabless design, but like a 3 tab or 5 tab design. But I don't know who's buying those cells at this time.
Yeah, the article I read suggested that it's primarily for Tesla, and who
Hmm.
else is there at this point
Hmm.
except maybe Ford for their truck? What do you call it? The uh,
Lightning.
Lightning. Yeah, I knew that. I knew that. Okay, yeah. So I
But
don't.
they're not using Panasonic cells in the Lightning.
Oh,
So interesting. Then those must be those. It's very possible that that's just a mirror of Giga Nevada, and they're making 2170s.
yeah, because the article also said they had slowed down their ramping plans because of lack of as much business as they were hoping for.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. But they're still doing fine and they're happy and I think they're going to be fully ramped by the end of 2028 anyway. So it's just I think they like reduced it by or slowed it down by a year.
Hmm.
But they're still making good numbers and a couple of thousand employees, I think, heading towards 5,000.
Hmm.
Okay. On a separate subject, you did a video the other day where you talked to the famous roboticist,
Hmm.
Mr. Walters, Mr. Scott Walter.
Is this video coming out on Monday?
Monday
Because
night. Monday.
then that video of Scott Walter was this morning.
Oh, it was this morning. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
No wonder
So
I didn't watch it.
I had a great chance to talk to him yesterday. Scott Walter was flying out of Detroit with his family, and we elected to give him a ride to the airport, but nobody rides for free. Cameras rolling, baby. Let's have a chat. We talked robotics on the way to the airport in the Cybertruck. I had a question. I had a bunch of questions. One question was Tesla had planned to roll out tons and tons of these Optimus this year. What happened? What went wrong? And he said the answer is they switched from 11 degrees of freedom to 22, and that created not twice as many challenges, but exponentially more challenges because the tendons can wear against each other. They can wear against the housing. They can wear against anything. I said, well, what about big old Popeye forearms? Could they do that? And he said, they kind of have, I
Mm,
assume, because you got to put all that stuff
right,
somewhere.
right.
And then there are other challenges that come in with it, like just like in an old human, those tendons can stretch over time. How do you adjust for that?
Right.
How do you make it so that the joints remain in the correct position to do the same task repeatedly?
Sure.
So then the question is, there are over 100 serious robotics companies. How many of those have timelines that they haven't pushed back? And his answer was kind of everybody's pushed back because this is something that's never been done. Large scale commercialization of humanoid robots has never been done.
Right.
Small scale demos, for sure, we've had those for 30 years, but those only have to work for 10 minutes at a time before you pull them back in, tune them up, whatever you got to do. These need to go out in the world and just function. So, what he's saying is that a lot of all companies really have scaled back their timelines, but not their ambitions. And that while companies like Unitree, with that adorable little 4 foot toy, are selling at volume, it's not practical. It doesn't really do anything other than draw a crowd,
Mhm.
which is fantastic for a convention. The only place I've ever seen one, and I've seen them a couple times, but it doesn't have hands. You
Mhm.
know, you could use it in a boxing match. And he even explained if you're in a Unitree boxing match, just do the rope a dope and let it punch you a bunch of times because it's going to overheat. And then you win.
I see.
So that was a lot of what the conversation was about. We did talk about other companies. The last big thing I would say about that is watch the video. No, is but do that because it's good. Is I had the question of Tesla's got vertical integration. They know manufacturing. Who else has that, and does it matter? And he said, well, in China, a lot of those companies do. BYD has a division that makes a robot. So they've got BYD's, DNA, their work culture, their manufacturing expertise. And a lot of companies in China are at least, if not fully owned by, somehow partnered directly with a large manufacturer that has those skills. The ones that don't in China are at least located in the manufacturing corridor where all of the expertise already is. So if you've got a company and you don't know how to build, you've already got a couple of partners lined up who want to manufacture it. They will send people into your company to make sure you're building it, designing it, engineering it in such a way that it can be mass produced. He said, outside of China, not so much. Really, Boston Dynamics, which is now owned by Hyundai, would be an example. But beyond that, it's not. The competencies don't exist. The potential saving grace for those other companies is that the pace at which humanoid robots are likely to scale into production should give them enough time to sort out their manufacturing while it happens.
Yeah, I've always, I mean, that's been a pitch on this channel for a very long time, is that the TAM on these robots in industrial applications, sure, in household applications, yeah, I mean, everybody's going to want, a lot of people are going to want one when they're $30,000 and that they actually do something that's useful. Some people will want them when they're $50,000 and don't do that much useful. Warren Redlick has said he'd pay $100,000 right now for one. So there is a novelty aspect to it, kind of a fun, I'll be first on my block. But in terms of real numbers, I think it's going to have to get down to that 30,000 number, roughly somewhere in there. But industrial wise, I'm sure you and I have even talked about this. I mean, it could be $200,000 and they would sell like hotcakes if it can actually perform a lot of tasks well.
That's the thing is, whatever use it has, there is an application.
Right.
If your robot can only do 2 or 3 things really well, it's got an application and somebody will pay $250,000 for it because to them it is worth it. Mm-hmm. Think of how many people in Antarctica you could replace with robots. Right. Hopefully most, because it's a very expensive, very dangerous place to have people. But then as you add a new application, it gets better and better. And I did ask him about the possibility that we would have 2 different hands, one that is much cheaper and can do things like folding shirts and digging ditches, and one that's surgical precision.
Right.
And he said, I mean, you can do anything. They're not out yet. So,
right.
But
my best guess would be, knowing Elon, is that initially, at least, there will be one version so they can ramp and make money hand over fist as quickly as possible. Get it? Hand over fist.
It's Randy. It's Randy.
You like my Rebellion Air shirt?
I do. When we commented on that last time, someone said, he got a new shirt. I said, he's had that one.
Yeah, it isn't new, but I noticed that you and I are, wearing roughly the same colors this morning. So I don't know. We got together on our plan.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else? That was it from Scott Walter. Nothing else that was.
I mean, watch the video, but it's that's the gist of it. Those are the main bullet points. I would say on production, YL is selling well in China. As you said, they're expecting it to potentially have an even better quarter. Q3 in the US was only 30,000 units over last Q3 in the US, which suggests that if that's the delta between IRA and not IRA, at most you could subtract 60,000. And it sounds like Troy's number is 70,000 off. I don't think that that's a reasonable number but insurance interest rates could be a factor that's at play. Last quarter, Tesla didn't really pull any levers in the US. This quarter, they could. I think there's a lot of opportunity to beat Wall Street's estimate of 439 or 438, 439, whatever it is, and we'll get a better picture in a month or two.
Right, of course. We'll get a really good picture on January 2nd. All right.
Hmm.
Thanks a lot, as always, for joining. And to all of you out there, it's been amazing talking to you.